Okay, so who's going to make the sale here? I see a lot of salespeople thinking the customer's going to make the sale. Well, guess what? That's not going to happen most of the time. That's going to happen some of the time. Most of the time, people are going to walk in and they're not going to just make an order with you. You're going to have to make a sale, okay? Customers don't make sales. Salespeople make sales, especially the extra ones, especially the big money. The big money is going to be made because you made something happen, not because they did. You and your organization are either going to make a sale or take responsibility that you broke the sale. Just like I said, customers don't make sales, you do. By the way, salespeople stop sales in most cases rather than make sales. Understand, customers don't make sales. It's impossible. Somebody has to make things happen, okay? Most people don't just buy something. If they did, they wouldn't need you. They would have ordered it on the internet. That extra sale, that second sale, the third sale, the fourth sale, that has to be created. Salespeople make that sale, that second sale, third sale, fourth sale, either happen or not happen. It's your job. This is where responsibility gets lifted. It's your job, the organization's job, management's job to make that extra sale. They don't just happen. It's your job to create trust, to follow up, to insist on, to create a situation where people can actually look at something and maybe do something before they thought they would do something. This is about trust again and about insistence and about responsibility. Okay? Whether or not you make a sale is entirely up to you, not them. In order to make sales, you have to understand the mind of the customer. You don't recognize how buyers think. If you don't know how they think, you won't know why they respond. What causes them to act. You'll be unable to take an increased responsibility and never reach your full potential, and I know you want to. When you step into the arena, the sales arena, you're now in the business of handling people, not products, not services, not facts. You're handling them. People are run by their minds and by their past decisions and experiences. Look, you want to study the mind. Understand them, understand what they're thinking, what's going on with their fears, their concerns, what's going on at home, what about their distractions? Are they fed? Are they happy right now? Are they angry right now? How do they respond to situations? What does money mean to them? How do they value a certain price? You got to know a lot about the customer. It starts with knowing you. Most salespeople tend to blame their customers when their sales are down, but they don't usually do so to the customer's face. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine telling somebody, well, you're cheap, but people think that. Salespeople think that. It's an interesting phenomenon. Oh, by the way, the guy that's cheap, the salesperson that thinks their customers are cheap is typically the one that is cheap. And you never say it to their face, by the way. So if you say it to their face and you're thinking it, you got a problem, you got conflict. And they'll pick it up too. It's not going to get you thinking negatively about your customer, okay? Whether you say it or not is not going to get you the business, not going to get you the attitude, it's not going to get you the responses. It's crazy to think like that. It won't work. It won't help you. But it's also crazy to talk behind their back and say they're cheap because you're just passing on responsibility to them. It's not that you're being critical of them. You're giving the customer responsibility. Oh, the customer can't make a decision. Oh, the customer's cheap. Oh, this guy, he needs somebody else to help him with the decision. You're passing responsibility onto them in addition to being critical about them. And the truth is, you're responsible to make the sale. They're not. You see, when you say to yourself, they can't make a decision, and then you tell your coworker, this guy can't make his own decisions. He doesn't know what he wants. You tell the salesperson, your friend. He wants more than he can afford. You tell your manager. This guy's unreasonable. He's ridiculous. They're wasting our time now. On and on, you say. I never tolerate this kind of talk in my company. I'm like, look, if they don't buy, it's your fault. If they didn't pay the price, it's your fault. If they couldn't see the value, it's your fault. Okay? If they didn't make a decision, it's your fault. It's not their fault. Never blame it on them. I would never tolerate this kind of talk in my company. If we can't sell them, if we can't make the sale, it's my fault. Okay? I don't care what the customer said, how ridiculous it was, how low the offer was, how long they need to take, who they need to talk to. Look, I have customers that I haven't sold in 17 years. 17 years. Okay, he is a buyer. The person I'm thinking about right now is a buyer for my product. I'm the one that never made it. I could make up 17 years of reasons why they didn't. They all come down to this. I didn't make the sale. It's my responsibility. Responsibility is an indication, okay, of how much you hold yourself to be accountable to get the sale done. When you turn responsibility over to another, it's an indication very low responsibility. Low responsibility will always equal low levels of production. If you're taking notes, low responsibility always equals low levels of production. And look, I'm not just talking about selling here. Your whole life's conditions would be better if you increase responsibility. Everything. Look, I'd rather cause something to happen rather than have it happen to me. People don't buy because at some point you did not assume enough responsibility for making the sale happen. And also, you didn't assume enough responsibility for them buying. See, you want to take responsibility for both, the selling and the buying. Okay? I'm going to do my presentation, and I'm going to also handle all their reservations for them so they don't have to bring them up themselves. I don't take responsibility for just my end. I take responsibility for both ends. I take responsibility for the selling and the buying, if you could. Meaning what? If they don't have the money, I need to help them get the money so they can pay for it. If they need to talk to their wife, I'm going to do what I can to make sure the wife gets the presentation from me so that I can take responsibility for him and the wife. I'll give you an example. I'm working in a retail furniture store, one of my first jobs out of college. This guy comes up and says to me, he said, look, I'm not buying anything today. And I looked at him and said, sir, if you don't buy today, let me just say this. If you don't buy today, it's my fault. It's not your fault. The guy looked at me, grinned, and said, that was good, that was good. I filled his whole house with furniture because I took responsibility for his objection. I took responsibility for what he said he wouldn't do. In 2 hours, I'd done his whole house. That same person told me, I'm not buying anything today. I took responsibility for the selling and the buying. See what I said? Sir, if you don't buy today, it's my fault, not yours. I'll take responsibility for the managing of the transaction if I have to. You must. I'll take responsibility for getting the financing. You must. Even if you don't do that, you must. I'll take responsibility for the executive levels of the company, even if, look, whatever, you got a spouse and your spouse screws up, take responsibility for it. Don't blame him. Don't blame her. Okay? If you want to control your environment and make it better, take responsibility for everything. The good, the bad, the ugly. You can't just have the victories and the touchdowns without taking responsibility for the fumbles, even when you're not on the field. It's your team. What am I saying to you is this. Don't think about just your role. Think about getting the job done no matter what it takes. And that means taking responsibility. I understand that the customer is saying, I'm not buying today, is just a response. Sometimes they're just saying that to protect. It is a reactive response to the idea of being sold something. He would do this, by the way, with anyone, anywhere that they walked into. When they leave you, they go to another store, they say exactly the same thing. This customer would have done that in any retail environment they walked into that day, and it's probably not even the person talking. They don't even know what they're saying. It's like, hello, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, I'm having a good day. People are just saying stuff. They don't even know what they're saying. You've done it before. Have you ever walked into some place, you walked in, I'm not buying anything, I don't need any help, leave me alone. The truth is you did need help. You did want somebody to talk to. Come on, stop the madness. See, the only thing the buyer should have to do when they come to your company, call your company, visit your website, is have you assist them in buying something. Make it easy. All they should do is give you money. But you'd have to make it easy and take responsibility for everything, including making it easy to give me money. The buyer who states, I'm not buying today, or whatever stall they offer up to you, is indicating a lack of trust of either the salesperson, the company, the situation, the environment, or themselves. It's vital that you understand why the buyer is weary, tired, and not trusting of most salespeople, maybe even the company. They also have distrust, if you will, of their own ability to make good decisions and do the right thing. Look, I'm not saying this is always the case, but I am saying that there is a possibility that all this leave me alone is more about them than it is about you. Let's face it, they don't know you. They've lived with themselves for years and just met you in most cases. These points must be understood by you to understand how to handle a customer at a point of distrust. This point, you can endear trust, get credibility once you have an understanding. When someone meets you and you sense distrust, hey, look, you're probably right. Trust yourself. They don't trust me. She doesn't like me. Trust yourself on that. Know that it doesn't have anything to do with you personally, though. You don't need to wear this like it's something about you. Just understand it's going on, and it's going on for them. You haven't even said anything yet. Perhaps it was the white shirt, the colored jacket. You remind them of someone that they knew once. I don't know what it is. Don't worry about it. Just understand it's happening. Maybe they had a bad experience in some similar situation. Maybe they had a bad experience with a salesperson in the past. Maybe they weren't completely honest with someone in a similar situation. Maybe they ripped somebody out before and they're reminded of it in this situation. I don't know. It don't matter. What matters is that you handle it. You can't sell people that don't trust you. You cannot sell people that don't trust themselves. You cannot sell people that don't trust the company. Trust means reliance, the integrity, the strength, the ability, the surety. I can rely on you, your integrity, your strength, your ability. It means confidence. Confidence comes up. I'm doing the right thing here. It's a confident expectation that some product or some company will treat me fairly, give me what they said they would. The hope that something good is going to happen is trust. It's a form of trust and confidence in the certainty of a future payment for property or goods received. I lend you money, I trust that you're going to give it back to me. Trust, reliance on the integrity, strength, ability, the surety of a person or thing. That's the definition. See, that's what you have to give them. You have to get people confident in you. You can't get that saying you're wrong or disagreeing with people. You can't get it saying, give me a few minutes and ignoring people. You can't get it by insisting they do things, this is how we do things here. That doesn't build trust. You have to build trust. Management, salespeople. Look, there's ways you can start building trust. You got to work on this. You got to train this. So many people think that they're just going to go build trust. You got to practice this. When you see it, distrust, handle it with your customer. Practice that. It's your job not just to sell a product, but to help them buy the product. And that means increase your responsibility for both you and the seller in building trust.